I will not go to sleep before telling you the chapter 8. Yes. What else could happen? After that day, things have happened even harder. I had to prepare my departure from the property, and the hard thing was the unemployment and being out of any school. I could not move out to any new address. I had excellent furniture and I stored them up for 2 months in a storage place in Skiv. I called the children's father to come and collect the furniture of the children and the rest of their toys and lots of wood that I used to create things for our home. As I was jobless, I could not maintain the furniture at that storage, and I had to sell it very cheap to empty the place. And some of the other things were watched by false friends that were just waiting for me to be possibly arrested and deported so they would not pay for what they took in promise of buying them. I lived 3 months in the house of my old neighbors that knew well my children in Morse, where we lived before we moved to Skiv. I kept myself busy painting their home, helping to build a summer house. I had a lot of stress for all these changes because it's not easy to live in a home that is not yours. But I was thankful for that open door. The couple could not understand what I did. They thought that it could be just easier for me to lie or to keep the standard in silence by agreeing to accept the City Hall methods. I would feel as if I was committing a betrayal to values I learned with God. Just before the end of that period, I stayed in another home with a single elder gentleman, a friend. Me and the children met in Morse. He was always present to help me with the children when I needed most. In sickness, he risked his own health to give us a hand, as we were all sick once. I stayed 2 months in his apartment as a guest, and it was while being there that I was called to attend another court, a criminal one. As my lawyer was still scheduled to stand there with me, I sent a request to court to have another lawyer because he has not stood with me correctly before. That lawyer was chosen for me by the prosecution. They attended my request and appointed to me a female lawyer. That courtroom was opened for the public, and this friend of mine came also to give me support. My ex-husband was there too, with a supposed lawyer, but the case was only about me against the Danish law. I wrote the verses that I wanted to show to the judge and my lack of shame for raising my children under biblical methods. I knew that would not make any difference on the results. But it would make him to see that the law he stands for, it's the opposite of the one told in the Bible. The prosecutor tried to put my values inside of a category of a real violence that happened to children in other families. But from the verse that I have read and from the appearance of the children in the video, the judge could see that there was no violence, only a broken of the Danish law. Some judges voted on how long I should spend in prison for slapping my son on his butt because he confronted me with disrespect and anger. Some voted for a period of 3 months. The prosecution wanted 5 months, but the majority voted for 2 months plus a warning of deportation if I did it again. What kind of verdict was that? If I was guilty of domestic violence, all these periods suggested were wrong. It should have been much longer. But if violence have not occurred, why was I not free to go? I asked God to frustrate that result, but not sending me to prison, not even for a day. Or how I could have the strength to keep telling people that He is the owner of all things. The prosecutor did not get the result he wanted, but he thought to appeal for a higher court, and he gave false informations of myself and values to a local newspaper on the next day, stating that the Bible was not understood correctly by me. But he never asked the journalist to write the verses mentioned in court and let the people understand them for themselves. God have heard my prayer, and things happened in a way that I started to have a place to live, and I was free from going to prison because I was admitted in a food college with a gastronomy program, something I had no more right to join, because that was my 4th try at some school, and that is not allowed in Denmark. I was strangely accepted, and a free room was given to me in the school, and I had free food with my clothes washed until I could start receiving a student support. A letter of the chain, food link, placed in my ankle for control of the police offer came to, and that did fit my situation. But they asked me to have a proper address, and suddenly someone that was living on my old address in Morse simply left, and with all her things behind, the apartment became vacant. But because it was in a bad condition, I was not asked for any rental deposit. I had 2 weeks free from school, and I could restore the apartment and live there well. Tomorrow, I'll read for you the chapter 9, and it's called Humiliation. Oh, okay. So, good night. For me, good night after the Portuguese translation. So, I need more lights now. Bye-bye.